Hi guys, welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns. This is Popsicle. I'm the event director for the 2026 A Link to the Past Mentor Program. This is a progress week for week number 2. It's not a specific segment of the game, but technically it is Light World RTA, if you want to call it that. So we're starting from the beginning of the game. Timing starts upon file select, and timing ends after defeating Aga 1 when Link is standing upon the pyramid. You'll mash text when Link's sword goes up. That's when the race timer in the race room ends. If we have racers who know the whole run and want to continue on past that point, they hit done in the race room and they keep going. We have 4 new runners for this category on Restream today, and our comms are Myth and Sawyer, so I'll turn things over to them. Good luck to all of our racers. Have fun.
Thanks for the intro. Welcome all to week 2 of the NMG Mentor Practice League Tournament. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but my name is Sawyer. I am joined by Myth. Hello, Myth.
Hey, how's it going, Sawyer?
Going pretty well. I'm excited to see this. I love seeing new runners play everything like they can during the NMG time, especially since, it's so much learning and so much mentoring.
Yeah, it's been an absolute blast. I'm one of the new runners, and yeah, I have almost no experience with A Link to the Past other than playing rando back like in 2018 a little bit. But no, it's been really fun picking up these last 2 weeks. Being able to get up to the start of Dark World this in this period of time, it's been like just a blast. But yeah, I guess we're going, and everyone is leaving Link's house.
And everyone got through the first 26 seconds of mashing. Not sure if anyone's been to SGL when there was the NMG tournament going on, but hearing 19 people all during that one room go ahead and start mashing the controllers was just a fun experience. It felt like fidget spinners all over the place. We already do have, the first part of Escape is always going to be like some RNG rooms and everything like that. So that's kind of what people are, having to deal with the most. And how do you feel about your Escape?
I'm happy with it. I'm reliably getting sub 6 as long as things don't go disastrously. So, I guess specifically me and Dreamy are both experienced speedrunners, so we like to pick up games quickly and do them rather well. But we've got a wide range of beginners here and people who have played a lot of A Link to the Past, especially in rando, and just wants to learn it as their first speedrun.
Absolutely, and let's go ahead. I think now it's a pretty good segue right now, especially since we're coming up to our first key guard. We do want to introduce our runners and who they're mentored by. Down on the bottom, we do have Karjan Amahal and Soul Last Summer. Karjan also goes by Akulan, and they both are mentored by Lachansi. Up in the upper left corner, we do have Audio Blood, mentored by Meowski. Much longer name than Meowski, but that's what we go by. And then also in the upper right, as you've already mentioned, we have Dreamy, who I think is sitting right behind you, but mentored by Owasi, who we should be seeing some good escape times coming from Owasi's team. Now, it looks like everybody got through the second key guard pretty well, and I think we're coming up to our first actual challenge portion of this speed run. Is this ball and chains on 3 hearts not always the easiest, so I'm going to interested to see what route we take for everybody.
There's a lot of options you can do here. Dreamy is going to go for the fastest strat, which is just go up to them, do 8 slashes. Everyone else is going to be going for much more consistent and reliable strats of throwing a pot. It helps make that fight a lot faster, a lot more consistent.
Yeah, it looks like Karjan is going to go ahead go for the double pot strat, which is also acceptable. You're not losing too much time for that, and if you do aggro that green guard, you're kind of getting those heart pieces the hearts from the pots as well. Dreamy's the first one out of the ball and chain room, followed by Celeste Summer and Audio Blood right there. And Aku rather. Aku had a little bit of trouble with the green guard and having 3 pots, so they're kind of coming up right behind.
I like the pot strat for the also just like having the opportunity of getting health, because it's never fun. Just like taking damage and dying. The RNG of the enemies is quite varied. You may hear Dreamy voice her frustrations with parts of the game as in the background.
I think that's true of every time you speedrun, no matter what. So, but it does look like, we do have pretty consistent portions here. Getting through the escape portion, something we do all practice quite a bit and want to make sure. This is also, if you're going for road records and such like that, this is usually the place where people, at least my mentor, likes to reset quite a bit. And now Dreamy is in the back of escape, which is one of the more fun RNG, because we do have all of these rats, and getting hit by the ones that you can't see is like really not fun.
A lot of what we were covering was it's just about positioning and like being able, like making sure that you're facing the right direction so that you can see the enemies. And you might not be at the point yet where you're able to react to the enemies, but as long as you're able to see them, you're going to build up your reactions and be able to spot patterns and go, oh, I can duck through this way and get through cleanly.
Absolutely. And one thing that this escape does also go through here in all of it kind of starts you on is definitely doing the more technical movements. We got your walking, your boomerang usage, your ability to pump quite a bit. Pumping is the fun mechanic that really speedrunners like to use in Link to the Past. And also stair lag cancel too. So we want to make sure that we're hitting all of our mechanics while in this room, in this escape set, because if we're not, then it's just going to make the rest of the run a little bit longer.
It's really interesting to learn that all of just like these hidden mechanics that just aren't intuitive, and you kind of have to be able to understand how the game is put together to understand why we do these things. Why are we doing pumping? Why are we doing these stair lag cancels? So like it's understanding how the game functions.
And I am very happy to see every runner getting to save Zelda without dying or anything like that. We did have some close calls, but that's what this chest here is for, is going to be the Sank Heart. I don't see any runner skipping this at all. It's just nice to have the 4 hearts while you're going through escape, especially for the damage boost that you have to do. And we do have a 558, it looks like, from Dreamy, a 613 from Celeste Summer, a 622 from Aka, and unfortunately Audio doesn't have their splits up there, so I wouldn't be able to see theirs, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was really nice being on critical health going into the Sanctuary cutscene, because you just save like a second and a half for free in the cutscene with the text box just going faster.
Even the creators of the game were like, yeah, this split sucks, so we're gonna give somebody a nice little reward at the end of everything. And then we do have Dreamy and Celeste Summer kind of going into the first screens of our pre-boots section, where we're going to go into our first dungeon called Eastern Palace. And this is a dungeon where you start to learn a little bit more about the mechanics of the game. You're learning what's under pots, that there could be things under pots. You're learning damage boosts. You're also learning just how to maximize your movement and just how to set up the RNG. It's kind of like what we were talking about in Escape, right? So
yeah, it's building up on I like the slow linear progression of the game. I guess it's not slow because it's a very fast-paced game, but the stuff that you learn, in the learning process is very steady, and you don't hit big spikes of like, okay, there's this really difficult trick, 3 minutes into the run that you have to get, and then get past that point.
And we do want to point out also there is a specific route that NMG runners will do. I did see a couple things there where there's actually looks like there's some action going on almost all the screens. In Dreamy's side of things, when you're coming up to the stealth houses, you should be able to boomerang the heart, and you get the magic pot with you. Going back and forth kind of is like a second or two. We did see on So Last Summer side, the middle one was spawned, so they kind of went down too far a little bit. It does look like Audio Blood had some issues throwing the pot up, which that's totally fine. You know, sometimes we're trying to move too fast, and going slower helps. And then we did have Aka go to the first chest in Eastern, so there's a little bit of time losses on just everything, and that's where we're all learning these things, and that's why we're doing this mentor stuff. So I think everybody's doing great. It's just those small things is what we're going to be kind of looking for to kind of get those better times.
Yeah, even now there's already like divergence in where people are and what strats is happening. But we've seen now 2 people do the get the boss key quickly by doing a damage booster into it and picking up a pot, and it's just a nice creative use of the mechanics of the game as like our invulnerability and being able to skip this puzzle.
Iframes are a beautiful thing, and they get you through so much stuff. It's not just in this here. And then if you aren't too comfortable with iframes, we're going to go ahead and see Audio Blood kind of do what the developers wanted you to do in this one, is they want you to go ahead and use the pot and kill these guards here, or kill everything in the room to kind of unlock the pot with the switch underneath it. And very nice double readies from Dreamy over there. But missed the arrows. That's unfortunate. Just kind of watch.
Yeah,
very nice quick kill.
Very clean nice. Eastern.
Summer getting the good RNG on the skeletons. And very nice double ready room and picking up the arrows. I do like Audio Blood just doing what they have to do to get through the rooms so that they don't die. And Popsicle6 says it in chat. Dying in speedruns is the slowest thing possible.
Yeah, Eastern is rather tricky just in terms of there aren't that many health things available when you need them, and you have to really be cautious about and like kind of preempt the bad things by going, okay, I've made one mistake already, let me get this heart because I don't want another mistake after this point is going to result in me dying without me having a backup.
Absolutely. And one of the fun parts is I will say that Dreamy and Summer are getting my favorite item from Eastern and NMG is the boots. I do like the strat from Aka on the Armless Knights. They did what they had to do, and while they were like a frame or two short on getting the quick kill, I think that they still were able to get that done quickly. I did see Dreamy also take the back of Saha's. That's another point where newer runners kind of look at, is they do the back of Saha to get their money for Pod, which will come up later in week 3. There is a couple ways to do it. There's tree pulls, which is a little bit more advanced, but Saha is a nice way to have that coming in for everything going to get to Pod and have not to worry about it.
For her, she specifically chose it because of the backup bombs being very useful for Pod later. And yes, you can do tree pulls, and we've learned that to be able to get the rupees that are needed faster. But this is just like a complete safety time save, and like it is almost no time difference, but it just makes things easy. And sometimes you just take the easy option because, hey, I'm not losing that much time for it. I can save more than 5 seconds but in like boss fights by just practicing them and doing those better.
Exactly, and that's the way that I believe everyone should be looking at it. That's the way I look at it too. It's like, do I have more time to save somewhere else, or am I going to save 6 seconds here? Oh, my cold stare I died to a lot, which is a farther dungeon later on. My cold stare I died to a lot. I'm going to work on cold stare rather than how to do tree balls, you know? So we all have the boots. Everybody's happy. And we do see Summer also grabbing a bottle in the back of Tavern. So it looks like they're going for a little bit more of a safety strat, where we do have Dreamy kind of going straight to getting to Desert, which I love Desert. At least everything except the boss, because this is where this game teaches you how to do dash lines, and you can lose so much time just on dash lines in this game. And this is also another dungeon where you can reload up on your arrows, which are going to be very useful because you're going to use them for our fun time called Bow Lambo.
It's interesting seeing the like the bottle route. I haven't really paid any attention to getting the early bottle yet, so yeah, it's getting Bugnet and a bottle, just having that fairy just makes everything so much more consistent for so much of the run. You're going to carry that through not just the early dungeons to make sure that like they're safe and consistent and you don't have to worry as much through those, but like into the early Dark World ones as well. Like Palace of Darkness, Thieves Town, those can be really brutal in terms of health.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're even talking like we're getting to Mothula, which is just the best fight ever, and then you're getting into Cold Stare. So like getting these bottles early is definitely like a little bit of a time sink. However, we've already talked about it. Dying is slow. We don't want to do that. And I'm just gonna be curious to see where the runners, because it looks like everybody but Dreamy has gotten a bottle or is getting a bottle in Bugnet. Where are they gonna fill this bottle at as well?
Yeah, that's really interesting to know as well, because you ideally want to be bottling a fairy. We're not really at the point where going to the potion shop is worthwhile. You want to be doing that much later on in the run, if that's even a viable option.
Yeah, when you get the flute. And I did see that Audio Blood did grab a second bottle, so that's definitely going to be safe. Because there will be 2 fairies that you can get in Desert. I'm going to see if any of the runners get them, where we have Dreamy kind of crushing the back of Desert, and I really like the movement that Dreamy has been doing. They've definitely been putting some work in, just based on their times that they've been posting. And that's the fun part, is everybody's been posting their times or any like goals or PBs as well, so it's very fun to see that. All right, and just having the run. I'm glad that you joined me, Myth, because if I was doing this all by myself, I'd be missing things left and right.
We've got our second boss fight happening is Lanmo. This has been a very interesting boss to learn, because it's random, but it's a you learn like the right behavior and like what you should be doing, where you position, which targets you go for, and things like that, to bring up the consistency of the fight and just being able to do it. So even if it gives you the worst RNG in terms of the it's not vulnerable for as long as you would like, or if light's in a different direction than you're expecting, it's still like you can still do the fight consistently fast. Yeah, very nice fight.
That was a very, very nice fight. I did like the use of the bow is also one thing that you're gonna like. Your timing and everything in this game is a rhythm. I did see Summer kind of skip the fairies that are in Desert right now, so they're gonna get the fairy a little bit later. Whereas we have one of the more technical portions of this entire speedrun is where Dreamy is at right now. We do have Akka getting their big key in Desert, a little lower on health, but there are some heart pots in here that they may be able to get, or they're going to go grab that fairy and kind of run with that.
do find Desert is a very lenient dungeon for the most part. Like, there are lots of spots where, like, things go wrong. You just go and grab a backup or whatever. But yeah, there's the fate flippers we just saw from Dreamy. We both go for the setup. You line up with a cliff face, walk up to a bush, hold our sword, walk up to the edge of the water and tap boots and jump into the water.
Yeah, there's also the option where you can walk up, grab the bush, and as you're grabbing the bush, hold up right, or up left, rather. Yeah, up right, and do that as well. And Summer was using the bow quite a bit, and this is something that I've seen so far from both runners that have fought Landmo at this time, is don't be afraid to use your sword. I know it's not as much damage as the bow and whatnot, and we do have Audio Blood grabbing these fairies up in Desert, this is the room that a lot of people don't know about. But Aku, I'm so sorry, it's not Akka. I'm mixing names. I'm putting them together. Akka, I don't know what's going on. But don't be afraid to use your sword on that, because you will need to also have at least 8 arrows, I believe, coming out of Desert. To make sure that
Dreamy's getting Death Mountained.
Dead Rocks are the worst. Dead Rocks are the worst. I can tell you that my league team name was for Rando was Dead Rock You Like a Burnicane, because Dead Rocks were the fever dream of somebody not doing well.
We got Summer going for the same setup. They had the right position, and they just need to hold right. They're going to do the setup again. Yeah, and then just hold right out of the jump here, and they get it.
I think they're a little too low right now.
There we go.
They're good. Okay. We got our third Landmo fight. I do like that everybody's showing off that they're using the bow strats and whatnot, but obviously this is where you know, knowing when to shoot, when to slash, a good lineup right there for getting those 2 worms. So that's very nice. And this is, I can tell you, Landmo is one of the ones that everyone practices because, quite frankly,
that's exactly the reason. Instead of taking a death hit, they have their fairy in a bottle.
And one thing too, while in this mode in NMG, there is something called damage tables. Do not spin your sword on Landmo, because it actually counts as Master Sword, and you're doing less damage than if you're doing with the Fighter Sword. It's really technical on how they work that in the system, but we don't want to be using spins, or else we'd probably already done by now.
You'd be better off holding it and just poking it, because if you're holding the sword there, the sword hitbox is there, so the frame the boss spawns, it takes damage. And you're just optimizing the frames at that point.
Well, overall DPS style, Sean, because you're being bounced away and you're not able to get another slash in. But we are out of Landmo. Thank gosh. We are completely out of Landmo. And then we do have, I didn't actually see Dreamy do Beetles, which is definitely another place that can be 4 different strats on how to do that.
Yeah, we do the safe strat up at the top. It's just consistent. Yep. The Beetles are they're very random when they decide to move. And there's the bonk bomb boost on Dreamy's side, nicely done.
So it'll be interesting to see the other option for any bomb jumps and whatnot, because there is the spin speed setup, or the spin setup for it, to get those. And then I'm kind of wondering where audio is going right now.
This is the fake flipperless route to Death Mountain. If you're not comfortable with doing fake flippers, and honestly, if you don't get fake flippers first try, this is faster.
Oh, I had no idea. There's also There's also sometimes where it's okay to actually. We're gonna go ahead and watch. Trolldorm is doing Trolldormy things to Dreamy. One of the fun parts about this is you always could reset your fight by getting bounced off of Moldorm.
Yeah, we've been practicing this boss quite a bit the last couple of days. It's definitely Trolldorm. Is his name for certain?
And then we did. Summer unfortunately died. I'm not sure if they got the key.
That's a fall
that's
down the middle in the Moldorm fight. So that's
that's a death warp from Summer. We do have Akka and Audio Blood up on the mountain dealing with dead rocks while they go through things. And this is why we called Trolldorm because Dreamy is unfortunately having a time.
Yeah, this boss is not truly random. He does follow a completely scripted behavior, and it's still just difficult to keep that in mind and understand when he turns, when he goes in a straight line. But you just get so unfortunate with some of the interactions like that, where it's like, oh, he's going in a straight line horizontally. I'm going to dash through and hit the tail. You just get unlucky collision. You get hit. It flings you off the arena, and you die.
Absolutely, and I think
you fall down. Yeah.
One of the things you can do to control what you're going through is not have your sword out, so you can move around instead of just in the direction that you're facing. It's a little quicker when you don't have your sword out. It's one of the small mechanics that the game has produced. Because your sword is out, you're moving slower. Very nicely done.
And
the 6th hit in our Raged is one of the more stressful times of the light world.
Oh yeah. That's definitely one where I'm just waiting out for the cycle when it decides to dash directly towards me, because then it's quite reliable to do the dash through and hit its tail in that final cycle. And holding out the sword is really nice as in the fight for not falling off the edge. If you're holding the sword out and you're holding away from the edge, it can be continuously knocking you against the edge, and you won't fall off as long as you're just holding the right direction. The worst thing to happen is when you get hit and you drop your sword, and then you're just completely vulnerable, and there's nothing you can do to stop getting knocked off.
We did, unfortunately, Akka did unfortunately die in Tile Room, so they're gonna have to go through the Tile Room again. Whereas Audio Blood just got their big key. Summer and Dreamy are both running through to go get their major upgrade for swords in this game. Not as big as Mastered to Tempered. Summer, I think you may need to go do some tree pulls. You need to reset the tree pull there.
Yeah, even if you think you've got enough rupees that you don't need to get the blue rupees from that first tree pull, you have to do the tree pull in order to set up the red tree pull.
I will say that this may be pretty unique for this tournament, for this race here, and only this race, because you're not opening pod in here. So you're gaining time by not getting the money, but you're also not getting the practice for getting the money, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there is the backup of on the way to pod you just mirror, and you get to the Saha entrance, and you can go get Saha rupees at that point, but that is just slower.
Absolutely.
It's only a backup for... It's really just the last case backup for all of your tree pulls failed. You didn't get the first tree pull, and you failed the backup for the second tree pull.
Yeah, it's definitely much slower, especially since anytime you have to double dip into this where it's not required is a little bit much. Yeah, I think this is more of a. I think Summer is indicating that they are not going to be continuing this run after getting the sword up on the pyramid by getting this no money here. So, which is understandable. We're going through this race just to get to that point, and then we're trying to practice what we do at this here. Akka is having a rough time in petting zoo. And this is Audio Blood is kind of going around showing a little bit more as to what we need to do with Moldorm. Watch where they're moving to and how many times they bounce around. And now is when they're going to hold their sword out so they're not bouncing off of it. Unfortunately, they weren't lined up right there. And Dreamy is doing my favorite strat, the dinner bell strat.
Ding, ding, ding.
Just needs to wait a little longer to get it to bounce twice.
Yeah, clearing them up with the arrows as well. You just want to have as many arrows as possible for this section. And yeah, doing Aga without full health, it halves the different strats you have to do, because it's very much like, oh, do you have Sword Beam or do you not have Sword Beam going through Aga? I find that not having Sword Beam is so much easier, but it's not ideal. You do want to keep your Sword Beam.
Absolutely, and it's this is the one spot where you kind of do want to keep your Sword Beams. And I think at this point, with where Audio Blood is going here, I think you don't need max health to get up there, especially when you're dealing with the Betos who are you're grabbing a heart and losing a heart like right away.
Yeah, Moldorm can just be like that as well, where you try and jump into the fight and it's just there. So okay, no chance for me on that try.
Mm-hmm. And the fun part too is, even though this is week 2 and we're stopping at the point we're sword up on pyramid, still work on these bosses, because bosses are the biggest time save that you can have in the entire game. Because that's usually where people are dying the most on. There we go. And I do want to make sure that we do have Algo finishing in first and Pichu in second at the moment. We are almost going to be there with Dreamy, and Summer is also making the climb up the Castle Tower. So doing very well and learning quite a bit here.
Yeah, very nice. We got I could do finishing up on Moldorm. And yeah, let's count the Aga blue balls.
The one spot where a lot of runs can be PB'd or not PB'd. At least one of them. So far I've seen 1 blue ball, 2 blue balls. Audio is just not having a great time with Trolldorm right at the moment. And we have Summer in here for their Aga 1 fight.
That's a 3rd blue ball for Dreamy. That's 1 for Summer.
And we do have Audio Blood getting through Moldorm, so that's very nice. They're also going to be working their way to getting the magical sword as well.
That's 3 for Summer now. That's 3 blue balls in a row.
Oh, so is 15 still on the table? Not for Dreamy. Once they're done with their text box, we go ahead and get that done for them. Master Sword is being grabbed by Akalon.
I think that's 5.
And GG's to Dreamy, finishing with a 33-40, first on the restream, and currently 6th in the race room. And then Summer is going to be right behind them. And I know that everybody feels like they may have had some frustrating moments in here, but it is also a restream. It is stressful. Definitely, I can tell you my first restream when I was running, I did a whole bunch of dumbs. So I'm very happy that everyone has volunteered for this and is hopefully getting quite a bit out of this mentor tournament as well.
Oh yeah, the entire point of this is to just put everything that we've learned in the last week into practice, because like the aim is to like complete runs. So like racing is a really good way of just like not resetting and just, no matter all of the bad things that happen, just keep it going and play through the game to completion, or at least as far as we've learned so far. So you're gonna have bad things happen. You're never gonna have like everything go perfectly in a race setting. It's unrealistic to have those expectations, and it's can you have like a bad thing happen, but then just like carry on and do the best you can after that point.
Yep, no matter what, we're still getting the practice in that we need to get in. So we do have Aka also going into Castle Tower. Lovely dinner bell strat we have going on here. And GG's to Summer as well, finishing with a 34-34. I will say that Castle Tower is my worst split out of almost all of them. It's just one that's so technical and not something that I always do well, and I'm learning myself with my own mentor at the moment too. So but we do have our last 2 runners in Castle Tower, and yes, everyone with the dinner bell strat, love it.
It's very comfy.
And just for future reference, what Audio Blood just had happen is one reason why we like to have sword beams going in, and we also like to make sure that I'm not sure where Aka went, but we want to make sure sword beams.
Switching to a 2 player scene right now, and just making sure we got the right people on there.
Gotcha. So one reason why we want to use sword beams and then dash in the Castle Tower 3 room is because we don't want to have the drops from those sword guards, because if you dash, then you're not going to get drops from whoever you're killing. And we are actually joined by So Last Summer. GG Summer.
Hi,
GG's.
Thank you. Thanks, Sawyer, Myth. Appreciate you guys on comms.
Absolutely. Thanks for running for us. We are watching Audio go through the last bit of Castle Tower at the moment. It also does look like Aka is currently at the bridge right before Aga 1, but let's talk a little bit about how you're enjoying this mentor experience. Can you tell me a little bit about what you've learned and what you kind of didn't know before?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know really anything about NMG. I have been playing Link to the Past randomizer for a few years, but I never played the vanilla game before I started playing the randomizer. So honestly, like just learning the route has already been a lot to take in. And you know, my rando muscles wanting to open every compass. For some reason, just the compass chests though.
they're the ones along the way, not the map chests.
Yeah, exactly. So I was really happy that I stuck to the route, and I didn't open any extra chests. But it's been really nice having someone to kind of go with me, you know, room by room and tell me like, oh, like in here you can save like even just a few seconds just by doing this little thing. Like, oh, one thing I was really excited to learn was in Escape you can skip a text box just by stair canceling. So like that, those are cool things to learn.
Nice. We do have Akka. I think it was one blue ball. Getting through Aga one fight.
Wow,
During
one
that as
blue
well.
ball?
I didn't know they existed, right?
Okay, I think I had 6.
Yeah, it was
Mine
bad.
felt like it went on a long time.
And
Yeah.
then it looked like Audio Blood got 0.
What?
I think that might have been
I
a 0
didn't
blue
see
ball.
any.
I didn't see
yeah.
any either, and that's pretty quick. That was a pretty quick fight there. So, looks like
And
Akka
Wow.
is done with
GGs.
a 40.05 GGs. And we're going to have Audio Blood also finishing here shortly once the sword is up. Summer, now, how much have you been able to practice with your mentor and on your own as well?
I've probably practiced a little. Okay, I'm not going to say I've practiced more on my own. I haven't practiced very much. Don't tell Popsicle Sticks. Um, but I've been able to get a couple mentor sessions in with my mentor Lactanzi, who is a dream to work with. He's so sweet. And so with my mentor, I've been able to really focus like room to room, and then on my own, I'm just kind of like running full segments, and just seeing how things do.
Nice. We also do want to say GG's to Audio Blood, who has finished with an official time of 40:36. And we have just been joined by both Audio Blood and Akaluan. GG's to both of you.
Thank you.
GGs.
Thanks.
GG's, guys.
And I guess I'm going to open the floor to you both. I asked Summer the same thing as well. How are you enjoying the mentor program, and have you learned anything new that you didn't know before?
I mean, I'm enjoying the mentor program a lot. Everything I learn about the game is something I didn't know before. I last played this game like 22 years ago or something, so it's been a little while.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me.
Very cool. And then I can tell you just for all three of you is that when I played this game when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, I know this. Then you get into this and you're like, I didn't know squat. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know any of the minutia when I played this game as a kid. It's a different experience just flying through a dungeon instead of wandering aimlessly for an hour.
mhm.
Yeah.
and then how much have you all been able to practice with your mentor or also on your own?
I've been doing weekly. We've been doing like group weekly practice with Miowski, my mentor. And then I practice. I do at least like 2 or 3 runs a day on my own through everything that we've learned.
Yeah, I've been talking with Lek quite a bit. and I've been trying to do at least an hour or more every night on nights that I can, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of the fun parts about practice. If you do too much, then you start to get burned out much faster. So keeping that balance is always what you want to do. Now, I heard runs, I heard room grinding, I heard weekly sessions. Out of the many that we have, what's your most favorite way to practice for all of you as well?
I like grinding an individual room. That's fun to me. I've speedrun other games, so I'm used to doing that. And the practice hack is really good for practicing a room over and over and over again.
Yeah, since I'm stuck on the don't take damage part of this, I'm doing a lot of room grinding.
I definitely prefer just doing a full run. I don't really care for grinding. Part of my motivation to join the NMG mentor program was kind of to work on my execution a little, to improve my execution for playing the randomizer. But doing the same thing over and over again is a little boring to me. So so it's hard for me to just like do room to room, but you can get through a full run easier.
That's kind of my mindset there too.
The full room grinding doesn't even always help. The two rooms I've practiced the most were the two rooms I messed up the most in the run today, so...
Well, at least you're putting your focus in the right place.
yeah, just not getting me very far.
I do notice that it's very top-heavy in terms of, like, different, like, things in this game. Is like, you know, you can grind one room until you're shaving a couple frames, great. But there's a room that is going to lose you like a minute and a half, and you can put all of your practice into that one room to try and like not lose that minute and a half, and it's so hard to improve that, even if you're putting all of that time and like investment into that.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I guess I'm not sure what the next steps are here. I do know that the next week is going to be Odd and Thieves Town?
Yeah, next week we have Coin presenting, and he will go over where we picked up from Meowski, where he stopped last week. So Pod, and then options for hammer jump, including going around if the runners don't want to do hammer jump, as well as introducing a shopping discussion with safeties, money, Thieves Town, and then I'll be talking with him probably later tonight just to make sure there's no questions or anything on his end. But yeah, the next section, we're going to slow it down a tiny bit. We sped it up this last week to get through Light World, but now with the randomizer runners and the runners who are coming to this game with little to no experience, Pod is one of the dungeons you can start to get lost in with the mirroring and all of that. So Coin has been advised on some tips for how to teach this, but he also has already been working on it on his own, and that is scheduled for tomorrow at, let me make sure I tell you correctly, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, February 15th. And that will be showcase number 3 by Coin. I don't have a channel assignment for that yet. When I do, I'll get that out to all of our mentees and mentors. The only other thing for today was, we said because of Valentine's Day, we would do a little special. We didn't like promote it heavily, but we did say the runner who entered the curtain to fight AGA 1, like how many hearts they had before they went into the AGA 1 fight. Whoever had the most hearts when they went into that fight would get a prize. And My notes say that Summer had the most hearts by half a heart.
Let's go.
So if that's wrong, please correct me. That's what I was told though. So Summer, the prize would be a gift sub for you or your friend of choosing to the channel of your choice. So you can DM me that later. And besides that, good job everyone. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next lecture. Thank you, Myth and Sawyer for comms. Appreciate you both. Good job, guys.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks for
GG,
having us.
everybody.
GG's, everyone.
Thanks.
GG's.